unfortunately, I don't have any paperwork for you guys. I did have some stuff, but my printer decided to like absolutely just die on me this morning. So, but I can forward some stuff to you that has all the breakdowns of like what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
My name is Travis Schiebel. This is Matt Gregory. We represent the Card Forge. It's going to be a trading card shop and located on the square at 5254, which is the old Rondo's Footworks. We reached out to secure some funding just to kind of get us on a good footing. So we found a niche in the aspect that I play card games. Matt has been selling online for the past 3 years. We go back to high school together, and we kind of connected at a card show. The two things that kind of we're trying to tap into is the fact that we can supplement the card shop itself with online sales and bring a robust kind of inviting play community to the area. So when you go around and talk to people, they want to be able to play the games, not just buy the cards. So if you're thinking in your head, most people know Pokemon. Everybody knows Pokemon. Pokemon is what's called a collector's game. It's driven highly by the collector market, but there's about 25 other TCGs, and people want the opportunity to play them. The only place in the area that you can play them right now is Phoenix and Griffin. It's one shop, it's small, they're great people, it's just not as much opportunity. So for instance, we have a friend who plays One Piece trading card game. He wants to play competitively. He has to go all the way to Syracuse, all the way to Rome, all the way down to various places in order to play regularly to get the points that he needs to compete in what are called regional tournaments. And so we thought we would open a shop that is an official play shop, so that way more people can play locally and not have to drive, hours away to be able to go play a game that they want to play. We also know that there is a regular contingent of people from Fort Drum in the area that might not necessarily know where to play or how to play, and so putting up learn to play programs, official play, getting on registered sites, that's another way to tap into that. Because if you go up to Clubhouse does a great job there up at the mall. They do a great job of letting people know that they sell cards, but if you talk to people in the shops, they're like, I don't know where to play. And being in the mall, they don't really have the ability to host, and so we're kind of like double tapping into that market. It's like, hey, you're coming here to buy these cards, you want to come play, we're going to be opening up on June 1st, come on down, we're already broadcasting our circuits and things like that. And so one of the things that we just need kind of help to get through is is just display racks, securing some initial down payments for distribution, because a lot of the distribution is really competitive right now in terms of nationwide. Up here it's not super competitive, but with the onset of really COVID, a lot of people went to online, and so there's things called Whatnot, which is, if you've never heard of it, it's an online platform that you go onto and they open up packs and you get cards that way. There are purely online salesmen. There's a very famous person on YouTube called Pokey Any, and he has $1 million business out of his basement. What happened was the TCG companies heard about these things, and they really started to buckle down on distribution and say, you need to make sure that you are selling to brick and mortar stores that have established windows, established marketplaces. Otherwise, we don't want you distributing to them. And so we put in 6 or 7 distributor applications in there. They want pictures of the signage, they want pictures of the POS, they want proof of play, all that kind of stuff. That's stuff that we can handle, but the biggest thing that we have is that most of them require at least a minimum of $5,000 to $7,500 initial purchase order to be able to open the account. It's not unmaintained, we don't have to maintain that number, but they want to be able to basically be like, you have to put some money up front, that way we can just ensure that you're not just going to be one and done with us, order and then be out. And so different games are going through different distributors. So there's 6 national distributors. We want to be able to support 6 nights of play. So we're going to be closed on Tuesdays, but Monday, Wednesday, the rest of them, we want to be able to have organized play. In order to have organized play, which is official play through the channel of the company that supplies the TCG, you have to have distribution. And so that's kind of where we're at. Is we right now we're supporting play through what we would call off-channel play. So it's topdeck.gg. It's a website that you can partner with to set up tournaments. We're offering prizing, and we're offering various kind of incentives to play with us, but the ultimate goal is to get that official play. And so that's why Matt and I reached out to Watertown Savings and through that channel, through Drew, you all, to secure some extra funding so we could have the ability to get distribution. We have about, what would you say, $250,000 in inventory in the back room, just from our personal collections that we've given to the shop. So we have the inventory, but we need to establish those distribution channels in order to get the official play that we need to be the play shop that we want to be for the community. I just threw a lot of information. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
So what does it cost to play? Can you give us a sense of?
Of course, yeah. So for a typical play night, which is once weekly, it's about $5. You come in, you get $5, gets you a seat at the table, and then the top 3 get what's called prizing. And so we have booster boxes. We take out the packs. First place gets so many packs. Second place and third place gets packs, and that's your prizing mechanism. For what are called challenges, which are like monthly larger term tournaments. Those are $10 entries. And then we have our quarterly circuit, which the quarterly circuit championship that happens once every 3 months is a $35 entry. And that's the peak prizing. That's where you get your regional fee covered. You'll get your plaque that puts you on the wall of champions, and you'll get an entire booster box as a prize.
So you make your money from the card sales, right?
Correct,
Okay.
yes. Yep.
Can you give us a sense, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you give us a sense of, because I mean, you've got some great projections here, 900,000 in the next couple of years. What does it cost to buy these cards?
We are buying at about 50 to 60%. So a typical trade-in ratio. So the way that cards kind of work is it's a constant trading mechanism. So people come in and there's a new set that comes out. Those initial sets are very expensive. So they want to be able to procure that at a cheaper cost. So they'll take cards that they're not using in their deck, trade them into us. We buy those at 50 to 60%, and then that gives them store credit. That store credit goes to the purchase that they want, and then we sell those cards at a 40, 50% markup.
How much is a typical new set?
A typical new set, a booster box is around $160. Typically, to get into a competitive deck, you're looking at around $450 to $600 to get to a top tier deck.
How many people would show up for a game night?
We're probably about between 16 and 30, depending on the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And with your revenues, I guess my question is, I get that a majority of it's about the sales, but like what percentage would you think like in-store sales versus, I think I saw online sales in here too? I think that's where probably your experience is.
I do most of just online, like the back end, TCG and eBay, and then I do all like the labor intensive stuff, like shipping items out. And
So like, did you guys kind of get into any estimates of like what percentages you think online sales might be versus in-store sales?
that would be.
Yeah,
I'm not sure because
I'm the one that's crunched all the numbers, Matt is basically. But so I'm expecting about 60-40 online, to be honest with you. Just for perspective, we obviously just finished the month of April. While we weren't open, we did do 3 table vending shows, so you can consider that in store, right? We did about $64,000 online and about $22,000 at the vending shows. So if you supplement that and with us ramping up inventory online, you could probably project about a 60-40 ratio of online sales versus in-store sales.
No, and that's great. I mean, different revenue streams,
Yep.
right? Where if you're having a little bit of down spell over here.
Yep.
I know my golf partner in league is into some of this, and I think he made like $30,000 last year.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Wow.
Just like
Okay.
trading cards and
And-
stuff like that.
And as for some kind of like redundancy, I have a background in computer science, and so I'm writing basically a catch-all in our POS system. So a card sits and doesn't move for 30 days, it goes immediately into online inventory because we're separating those two just for the sake of not having to subscribe to 37 different softwares. But it will ping the system to pull it out of the display and bring it up to Matt's warehouse, and then he can put it online inventory, so that way we're constantly.
So you guys are gonna be tracking margins?
Yep,
and
yep,
everything like that.
absolutely.
So what are the hours for the physical store? What are you thinking?
We are gonna be 11 to 9.
11 to 9, so that's good. Okay.
How many days a week?
6. Closed on Tuesdays.
And how does that, you're both employed? That's where.
I am.
Yeah, no, I've been a stay-at-home dad for the last couple of years, so this is good for me to get used to it. The kids have already been in and out of the shop because we have the main store, then we have like the back end in the building where that's like all online sales happen. So that's where I kind of sit back in the dungeon back there. Yeah.
And then Nate, who is our other partner, he is leaving his job on the 30th of May and then coming to the shop full time.
So are there 3 of you that own the business?
It's technically 4. My wife is a 1/4 partner, and that was because she's doing all of our books basically. So, but she's not gonna work in the shop. We're gonna set her numbers, and she organizes. So that's what she's doing.
Okay,
But she is a 1/4 owner.
so each of you are 25%?
Correct.
Okay.
Have you already approached WSB and gone through the whole pre-qualification process with them?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. This was we had been with Drew for almost a month and a half.
Yeah.
And then he actually reached out and was like, "Here's another option that we can go for."
Yeah, and then he reached out to Kylie, so. It's contingent on,
WSB approval.
yeah.
Do you have any more questions?
Well, I won't claim to understand it, but I have heard people talking about this, so you do have some buzz out there.
Yeah. That's good. We like that.
Okay, so the way the process will work is, if they recommend it for approval, it'll go to the full board next Wednesday. So
Okay.
then I'll let you know at the end of today, what the conclusion was, and then I will let you know next Wednesday as well.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And so thank you so much for coming in.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
You did so good.
Have a good one.
Perfect baby.
Thank you.
Perfect baby, bad teenager.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.
I got a bunch of bad teenagers.
A bunch?
No, you just gave me hope, Marshall, because my kids were terrible babies.
I feel like my life is going down in flames because like my kids are typically pretty good, so I don't like to hear that.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good situation. Actually, they're perfect. I like to lie about them.
So this was also one, as you said, like I had no idea about anything to do with card sales, so this was definitely outside of my normal
I know
realm.
there's definitely a market for it. I think the fact that, I forget the gentleman's name, but he has experience with the online.
Oh, maps,
Maps.
yeah.
If it was just brick and mortar, I might have some more.
That's
concerns.
exactly. Yes, and typically, like when people come in here, we don't really like to see too much of like the online. We want to see the brick and mortar, but with this type of project, I feel like it's a necessity. He also talked. They have some strong ties with people on Fort Drum, so that I think will be a huge thing because Fort Drum, I believe, is probably one of the biggest customers for this type of thing. And as we know, it's a revolving door up on Fort Drum, so being able to have contacts up there that are civilian employees, I think is really helpful as well.
I don't understand it all, but like I said, my golf partner last year and a friend of mine over at Washington Street Properties, he told me about this guy who does this, and just after work and this and that, he buys these bags, and he made like $30,000 last year just trading these things.
Yeah,
So,
Joy and I, the first
I don't know.
when this first came through, I was like, a card shop? And then I was like, okay, I will admit, I don't know anything about this. So then, I'm looking like these sales, like they look pretty high. And then the more you research and look into it, you're like, okay, like these are actually, it's realistic. And which I think it's always fun when something that's completely outside of what we normally do comes to our desk.
And this is
So-
the type of thing where it's literally like you either know everything there's to know
Or you know
about it or you
nothing.
know zero.
Yeah,
You know?
and I will admit that I did not know much about it.
I would think Fort Drum would totally fit the profile of
Yeah.
its customers, and I think it's awesome. And just as you say about the online piece, I think if you're doing retail right now and you're not supplementing with online stuff,
Yeah.
you're really
Yeah.
putting yourself on the back foot.
Just one question, I know it might be different from like banks and everything. Since they're all 25% owners, do all 4 of them have to be guarantors?
No,
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah.
Typically, so I know this hasn't been approved by the bank and I haven't had much time to talk to
I was
Drew
gonna
about it.
say, I think everything should
But yeah,
match up.
typically anything, we mirror anything that SBA does, so any percentage of ownership.
So Drew had said that these were the 2 that they were taking as guarantors.
So it's
So-
interesting, the gentleman who's speaking.
Yes, is not one of the guarantors. That was also my question, is when I was talking to Drew about it all,
Yeah,
so the one I was speaking and his wife are the two that are not.
okay.
And he said that that's how Watertown Savings Bank, I would recommend follow whatever WSB decides.
Yeah, I
Would
get
be
some
my recommendation.
clarification on that.
but-
I know I would need all four.
Yes.
Yeah.
Typically we would, so I might have to talk to.
Okay, yeah, so that's what, I was very shocked when he said that, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
so that's why we only did the,
Yeah, if you could follow up.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
sometimes it
Absolutely, yeah, I will.
might be more responsive than.
Yes.
I-
And then I'm
I-
assuming it's secured by the inventory.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so it'll be secured by the inventory, which we all know at the end of the day is not always the greatest, but everything that we typically do here is more times than not is
Maybe we should
by
steal
inventory.
the inventory. Sounds like it's really great.
I did some research ahead of time, and I wasn't familiar with this at all, but I'm a techie guy. And you're gonna see, I think, more of these types of businesses coming forward. But this is booming. I mean, your friend, 30,000 playing a game.
Yeah.
You know, these people are obviously invested.
They just trade it like
They-
ETFs. That's crazy.
Well, they also.
They're doing what they love to
Yeah.
do, so which really helps. And I think that their plan, I mean, 20,000 for inventory, 11,500 for working capital, that's a nice mix. I think they get that.
Sounds like
piece
they're
as
pretty,
well.
sitting on a pretty hefty
And
amount of
it's- yeah,
inventory
Yes.
as
it's a
well,
quarter of a
initially.
million.
So
Yes.
it's not 100% startup. They
Right.
have a good chunk.
And that foundation you need for the distributions, to have that online presence, and that makes a lot of sense. So,
Yeah.
I think these guys will do well, in my opinion, but.
I mean, and another thing is it's been a vacant storefront for a very long time. So since Rhonda moved out a year and a half ago, so that's another big plus that going in there.
Which one? I can't place it. Is it in this building or is it in the?
The Franklin building.
So it's an actual storefront on the square?
Yes.
Okay,
it's-
cool, frontage.
Yeah. So it's one of Neighbors Watertown's building, which
Okay.
I'd actually originally heard of, I believe they must have signed their lease a couple months ago, because when we went over, we had a meeting with, Reg and stuff like that over there, and he was talking about it, so I think he was really excited about it too. So then also when it came to my desk, I was like, I actually know exactly where this is going. But I think it'll be great for that space too. Again, he was also talking about, I think it was before you guys came in, but he was talking to Whimsical Pig, and I guess they're big into this car thing. He's like, yeah, they're so excited, and okay. Because again, this is not my type of thing, so to wrap my head around it at first was a little difficult for me. But then I'm looking into it, and I'm like, okay, this is be a lot more profitable than I ever imagined. So I do think it'll be great. As Terry said, it is something that's growing, especially with the Fort Drum community right here. And with their, I don't know what he called it, but essentially their competitions that they have, their games. They bring people from all over New York State, so that will also be bringing people downtown that would typically never come downtown, which I think is another plus. Because if you haven't noticed, there's a lot of vacant storefronts in downtown, and
Let's get them in there, absolutely.
yeah, so I think it's great. But I do think it would be contingent 100% on WSB approving it, and I think whatever we should follow their terms as far as like the guarantors and stuff like that.
Well, I make a motion to send it to the full board with contingencies based on all approvals and paperwork, approval from Watertown Savings Bank. I don't know what else we need to put in there.
I'll second that.
Perfect.
I'm good with it.
All right.
And we
Yeah.